What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we are going to be showcasing the brand new Necrotic Grip Exotic Warlock Gauntlets just added into Destiny 2 with Beyond Light. These exotics are getting a lot of hype, but not for the usual reasons. We're going to talk about what makes these so good and so unique, and so let's get started. So, first things first, if you want to get these exotic gauntlets for yourself, you're going to have to beat a Legend or Master Lost Sector. If you want to do so, check out my video on how to beat really any Legend Lost Sector. It's linked up above. Now, when we examine these Necrotic Grip Gauntlets, what do? Well, the intrinsic perk is Grasp of the Devourer. Damaging combatants with melee attacks corrupts them with increasing damage over time. Defeating a corrupted combatant spreads the corruption effect to nearby targets and restores melee energy. Okay, so you can see that basic process work in the background gameplay. I get a melee, and especially if I get a melee kill, it's going to shoot out with an effect, and any enemies that are standing within this radius that are hit then get that same poison effect. If those guys die, then they can spread out that effect as well. And so with one melee kill, you can potentially take down quite a large group of red bar adds especially. And that on its own would make these gauntlets pretty decent, like being able to go into a swarm of enemies, get one melee kill, jump away, and watch all of those enemies die one after another. That's nothing to scoff at. But that wouldn't necessarily tip these exotics over the edge. Again, they're getting a lot of hype, and it's not just for that. The unique feature about these exotic gauntlets is that they actually specifically combine with a certain exotic weapon, and that weapon is the Thorn Exotic Hand Cannon. Now, it has the intrinsic perk Mark of the Devourer. Rounds pierce targets and deal damage over time. Kills with this weapon leave behind remnants. And it's actually got another unique perk here with Soul Devourer. Absorbing a remnant strengthens Mark of the Devourer and partially refills the magazine. So, the gauntlets inflict damage over time, but so does the Thorn. And the thing is, these actually work together. If you don't melee a single enemy, you can still get the Necrotic Grip effects of killing an enemy with the Thorn in this case and spreading that damage over time, and that's where you're going to see so much in the background gameplay. So you have an exotic that was previously meant for kind of melee only gameplay and really risking yourself to go into a scenario where you can melee one out of a large group of adds to spread that around, and now it's letting you do that same effect from a safe distance while just shooting enemies with a pretty good hand cannon. And it's that feature that's really tipping these over the edge, the fact that both of these exotics work so well together. Now, here's the crazy part, and here's the unique part. When this was originally discovered, people were like, okay, this might be a bug. Like, this is so crazy, this is so good, it's probably unintended. But as you can see right here, someone made a Reddit post saying, hey, if this is intended or not, like, this is actually a really sweet thing. Having an exotic armor piece that works specifically with a certain, weapon even more so. So it's good on its own, but then it really synergizes with a specific weapon. That's a cool feature. That's a really awesome thing when it comes to creating builds. And as you can see, community manager DMG from Bungie actually replied and said, no, this is intentional. We did this on purpose. So that kind of changes everything. This isn't just kind of a random thing where these two exotics happen to work together. Bungie went out of their way to make sure these synergize. And that is a really exciting thing. I hope they do more things like this in the future. Because now not only have they introduced a new exotic, they've given the Thorn, which really didn't see a lot of PvE play, a whole new life in PvE. You're seeing this a lot more. Not to mention, both of these exotics having this kind of same effect, I think is a little bit of a hint for future darkness subclasses. The Hive and their Devour darkness magic Or I think some people call it waste or poison. Regardless, that like slowly lingering damage over time effect. This is clearly like a theme we're seeing here, and it has that same like greenish color as the Hive Orb Eris Morn is always holding, which is kind of a fragment, a shard, similar to the Shard of Darkness we just got that gave us stasis powers. What's the next DLC? The Witch Queen, which is hive focused and has that same color. So I think I'm kind of onto something, but that aside, let's talk about its effectiveness in PvE, because it truly is actually a fantastic combination. There are so many trash mobs in PvE, and this legitimately lets you kill one. Like, get one Thorn kill and just let it go. When this build pops off, it really pops off in the sense that it goes absolutely wild, and you're going to see some, background gameplay where one thrall turns into like 10 kills. That's truly absurd, and it lets you deal with those ads so easily so that you can switch to a shotgun, do whatever, to deal with the more pressing matters at hand. So you can deal with the more powerful enemies, the nightmares, the champions, whatever, while all those red bars are just dying off on their own because you killed one of them. And frankly, this build is so good it kind of trivializes lower level content. If you're doing a strike, if you're doing an empire hunt, whatever, this will make encounters that were supposed to throw a lot of ads at you and put you on the back foot into kind of a joke. With that being said, I do question its effectiveness in very high level content, especially because one of the downsides is that yes, when it pops off, it really pops off, but it often doesn't pop off as much as you would expect. Enemies do have to be pretty closely bundled in order to really have this thing spread between a bunch of enemies. More often than not, you kill one guy, maybe kill another guy, and it kind of ends there. And this compared to Warmind cells, I think I would still prefer Warmind cells. They pack so much more of a punch and they have such a bigger radius. You're killing enemies, behind walls and so on. Now that's not to take away from the power of this build. I still recommend anyone out there who gets these gauntlets, try this. You're probably going to love it. But I definitely don't think this is going to be like must-use Galahorn level stuff going on here. It's also pretty good in PvP, but that's mainly just because the Thorn is really good in PvP, right? So you're just basically making an already really good weapon a little bit better. In PvP, you're definitely not getting as much of that spreading effect because enemies just aren't as close together as often, but when you do, it's pretty sweet. So, at the end of the day, this is definitely an exotic armor piece that you want to go out of your way to farm for and try to get. And when you do get it, absolutely, it is worth trying out with the Thorn specifically. And hopefully this is the first of many cool exotic combos that Bungie is going to start introducing in the future. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.